Welcome back, viewers, to the Saturn shooter review series. We're stopping off at the letter C now with Cotton 2 and Cotton Boomerang. But first, Fantastic Night Dreams Cotton. Yes, I've had a few of those. We'll also be looking at Cotton 2, which requires the 4MB expansion pack, and Cotton Boomerang, the most expensive of the three. Well, what's to say about Cotton? This is by Hudson Soft, 1990 something or other, and ported over by Success, who also were responsible for some very nice shooters on the Saturn, including Guardian Force. Pretty standard fare actually, this on the PC Engine Super CD-ROM. It's a tricky game, not one of my favourite scrollers, unfortunately. Enemies are a little bit sparse, unforgiving. I wouldn't say there are a lot of bullets to dodge, but there are a lot of aliens to dodge. And the things you've got to dodge tend to move fairly erratically, like the clouds, those rather stupid musical notes, and these peculiar trees that get spat out of Great Uncle Oak. It's very difficult, like I said. I've only got to level 3. Don't really know what more to say. I like that kind of psychedelic background. It's sort of an indication of things to come graphically, as you'll see in the Saturn versions. They're actually quite impressive. But let's stop this little PC Engine prologue and get straight into the Saturn action. This is Cotton 2, and well, the first thing about this game is that it says you require the 4MB expansion pack. You can play it without it, but apparently you get some special features. I bought this game, Vampire Saviour. It's got the RAM cartridge packed in with this, so I got pretty excited. I thought, yeah, we're going to get some new graphics, maybe some new music, maybe a new level. What did we get? That's it. There's basically an extra sound effect. That's it. So not worth getting, if you ask me. Anyway, into the action. This is Cotton 2. It's got quite a strange combat system. It doesn't really feel like a shooter. You'll see that the graphics are quite nice. That's absolutely, probably its strongest point. There are some amazing graphics on the game. Some quite nice weapons and an interesting chaining system. But it's got a very odd combat system where you have to do key combinations to fire off a spell to pick those baddies up. Now when you chain a load of baddies like I did then, you get a colourful orb which gives you loads of points and lets you power up your weapons. It is quite good fun, this version, but I don't like key combinations. I'm not a great fan of beat 'em up, so I don't like having to press left, right, or left, down, up, or something like that to fire a bullet. You've probably noticed the large amount of sprite scaling and rotation on this game. Virtually everything on this game is scalable. The screen does pan in occasionally, and it also sort of scrolls in every direction, and enemies are very well animated. It's very, very different looking to many Saturn shooters. It's by Success. Like I said, they did Guardian Force, and in Guardian Force there is an awful lot of sprite scaling and rotation as well, so I can see the similarity there. It almost feels a little bit like a pseudo 3D game, if you know what I mean. Back to gameplay. I have moaned a little bit about the key combinations. I mean, it's not that big a deal, I guess, but the screen does tend to feel a bit cluttered, and Cotton herself is a rather large sprite and has inertia, so it's not very easy to dodge bullets anyway. If you hold down the fire button, it makes them move really quickly, and if you press button C, you do your smart bomb. They changed some of those dynamics for Cotton Boomerang to make it a lot more playable. Right, just to show you the difference between arcade and Saturn mode. The arcade mode is shown here, slightly more colourful. Saturn mode, and then arcade mode, and then Saturn mode and arcade mode. So they've really just messed around with the colours. Oh, and in arcade mode you had a nice knight and not that stupid head. So we're going to get the scanline generator out now, and we're going to put on Cotton Boomerang. It's a sort of remix really of Cotton 2. I wouldn't even say it's a particularly different game, but the first thing you notice is you can choose different characters. You get 3 characters per game, so choose the 3 ones that you want to play with. What happens is after you die, you use one of the other characters up, so they're your 3 lives, or you can change between them. So, gameplay. A very tidy game this. It feels a lot more playable. Main reason for me is that you don't need to use the key command system. They're already built into buttons X, Y and Z on the top of your joypad or joystick, so no farting around left, left, right or right, right, right. Just get in there and shoot. The other thing is you get more power-ups at the beginning. They've sorted it out really, gameplay wise. It feels like a much more polished game. I also think that they've sort of changed the bullets dynamics. They've changed the enemy firing patterns. They've given the enemies more bullets in a lot of cases, but because you're powered up more, you can fight them better. So overall, it's a better fight. It feels a lot less sort of clumsy and clunky. Right, time for a bit of scan line admiration. So I'm playing with a few different characters here. I'm not really going to say anything about the story because all I know about it is that quite by chance the witch Cotton goes on this mission. She's just on the lookout for this herb which she's addicted to, a bit like mace or something like that. But anyway, she's after this stuff called willow, and just as it happens she ends up fighting the bad guys, but it's not because she's a good person, it's because she's a crack whore effectively. Anyway, some more bullets and bullet dodging and some quite nice aliens mean that I think Cotton Boomerang is by far superior game of the two. It's more expensive than Cotton 2, but in my view there's really no reason to get Cotton 2. If you don't have either of them, just go straight in there for Boomerang. You don't have the arcade mode or the Saturn mode choice, but then it doesn't really do much anyway, it just changes the colours. You do have a few more options on this one. You've got a gallery, I believe, and it gives you a bit of a ranking information at the end of each level and just shows you how you've played compared to your best run, which is sometimes quite cool. So anyway, game over on that review. Let's get down to some scores, shall we?
Right, Cotton 2 is a disappointing pile of turd, and I'm going to give it 3.5 all the way through, because I don't like it very much. Alright, I know that was a bit juvenile. Cotton Boomerang, I'm going to give that 8.5 all the way through, so it gets more than 5 points more than Cotton 2. I hope you've enjoyed this video, viewers. Be back soon with another Sega Saturn review.